All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself and your business.
Warren Patterson formed Patterson Protective Coatings in 1997. So we're 25 years old next month. It's a big one. I started off in business for Caterpillar all those years ago, and then left there and went to a business very similar to this one, selling for them for 9 years, and realized that perhaps it was best I try it for myself. So did, so far so good, I'm glad to say.
Brilliant. Well, listen, happy birthday for next month. For 25 years, that's a fantastic achievement. So tell me, whenever you were growing up, is this something that you envisaged doing, or how did that go?
Well, what we do is we're specialist suppliers of coating materials to the construction industry, and that's still a tongue twister for me now. So certainly wasn't something I was thinking of at 16, and to think maybe one day I'll be telling future girlfriends and so on that I enjoy watching paint dry wasn't a line that worked particularly well for me. So the honest answer is no, it wasn't what I dreamt of. I wanted to be an astronaut and a fireman and all those things, a professional footballer, of course, and all those things. But reality is a terrible thing, and that didn't happen. So I just fell into it through a willingness and a wish to sell, and that was just evolved. My first selling job really was in a business similar to this. That gave me the taste for it. You build up a reputation and experience and a knowledge, and then you just do it for yourself. So yes, it's an evolved thing, and I'm glad to say that all these years later, I still enjoy very much what I do, and that's half the battle. If you lose that, then it's time to reconsider. But whilst you still enjoy it and you enjoy the people around you, that's great motivation. There are dark days, like everybody else has, and there are challenging times and all that. But yes, as long as the good days outweigh the bad ones.
What would you say is your biggest challenge at the minute?
One of the biggest ones, really, as always, it's credit control. That never changes. And I feel once you not let that be your biggest challenge, then that's when you become at risk. So you've got to keep on top of your debtors. That's one. The other biggest thing, very, very currently, is actually the amount of increases we're getting from material costs. We work with about maybe 6 main suppliers, and there isn't a month goes past that we get advice from them of either a limited increase or increases to take place the next quarter. And it's just it's trying to explain that to customers and help them understand that it's combination of transport costs, or it could be that it's Brexit related and protocol related, which are true, fuel costs, and then the latest one, of course, is the war in Ukraine, because it has an effect on oil prices, and of course protective coatings are taken from an oil derivative. So they all are genuine, and all the different manufacturers tell us the same things for basically the same reasons. So they're not all telling us lies. It is what it is, and we of course have to pass it on. We can't absorb it all. And the customers, ultimately somebody somewhere has to pay for it, and it's just a pity it's the same in the steel business, in the timber business, and all the rest. But I just worry and wonder where it's going to end, because somebody somewhere is going to say we can't afford to build a new building anymore, we can't afford to refurbish a block or do whatever it is they do, just because of the way the market is. So that's a worry for us all, but we're passengers.
Okay.
I haven't got a solution for it just yet.
Yes.
No.
And who would you say is your ideal customer?
Ideal customer would be one that pays on time, but really more than that, it would be one that would be very good quality at what he does. So, for example, take a painting contractor as an example. They've got to be good, experienced tradesmen, know what they're doing, and take a pride and care in their work. And they in turn work for good customers that they have, and use the products that we supply correctly and wisely, and all the rest of it. But also another dimension to that is that we need them to be not just on the tools and good at their hands. I like one's best, and ones that we cherish the most are those that are all-around business people. So they look for new opportunities. They are salespeople as well, although most painting contractors would say they're not. They actually are. They just do it in a different way that's not as obvious as some. And they need to sell and promote their business, whether it be by social media, by websites, by being themselves, by being professional and timed and well presented and well turned out and clean vans and all that good stuff. That's all selling. So those that are good at the selling process and the operational side of things, their accounts, their books, and all the rest of it, the ones that make our life easiest and a pleasure to deal with are the ones you'll do the most business with. So like ourselves in reverse, but on the tools side, we're purely supply, and they're fit. So those are the ones we like the most. By the builders, roofers, painting contractors, or whichever the trades we deal with, those key principles are the same throughout them all.
Sure. And of all the actions you've taken because of the pandemic, what are some that will remain part of your business?
What we had to do because of the pandemic was relook at the roles that each person plays within the office and within the business and redefine them. Because whenever it first hit a couple of years ago in that March, with furlough, we let everybody go in April. And it really focused the mind then when there was nobody at the door and the phone wasn't ringing and all that. So really, it forced us to look at it and streamline it. And then as and when business slowly back, it was just me for a long time. Then as and when we brought people back in again through time and through the situation easing for us all, we were able to really clearly define exactly what it is they need to do. And like all businesses, when you don't do that for a while, because you don't have to, because things tend to rumble on and we get a bit blasé about it, and we'd be generalizing quite a bit. This really brought our focus back, and we depended upon one another. With fewer people, we depended on one another to do the jobs that we had to do and do them well. And there were no hidey holes anymore. It had to be done properly. So in diversity, there comes opportunity, and that was one of the good things that came out of it. So yes, that was it. It was really the focusing on job roles and accuracy and efficiency, getting things done properly.
Sure. And what would you say has been your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
I suppose one of the biggest things was I always try to treat people the way I would like to be treated. It's an old-fashioned saying, and I know it's a bit cheesy and corny and all that, but it's true in personal life beyond business and in business life. I try to work that way myself, and it's the accepting that isn't the way everybody else also thinks was a big learning curve for me, because I tell you I'm going to do something and give you an undertaking to be loyal or do something that's important, it'll be done. But not everybody has that same thought process, and it was in those early years, it was learning that not all people have that same thought process, and that was, you go through a few bumps and bangs to experience that, and which again, the only bad mistake is the one you make twice. You learn from it, and you don't do it again, and you learn not to trust. And that sounds terrible, learning not to trust someone, but that's what it was. You've trust is learned and earned and built up over a period of years and time. But I was going out saying, well, I wouldn't do it to him, so why would he do that to me? But people do. So the biggest curve was recognizing that not everybody's a good guy out there, and then you through time and experience you learn then just avoid the bad ones and keep the good ones.
All right. And what would you say is most inspiring to you today?
People, I think, is because whenever you find those good people, be the people that we are, the three main bodies of people we deal with are our own people internally, are our suppliers that supply us with the coatings, and then our customers that we supply to. And within each of those groups, you obviously, if it's your own business, you pick the best and you keep them, you cherish them, you enjoy them, and you look after them and protect them. For those that are customers to us, that are suppliers to us, again, you pick the right suppliers with the right attitude and the right people that you hope that they've chosen the right people, and you work well with them. And again, you work well with the best with those that support you the most. And then similar with customers, then back right down to customers again, where a similar thing applies. You want to work with the ones that treat you the best and pay on time and do all those principal things that are important. And so the common theme there is people. So you just surround yourself with as more good people than bad ones, and that gets you through. I know it sounds a bit corny, but that's what it is. It's a human reaction. You go to those that give you the best results, and that's what works. So that's a big learning curve.
Yeah, it sounds like good advice to me, Warren. So if you were able to, what advice would you give to the 18-year-old self? I'm sure it's not that long ago. What advice
longer than I care to remember, but funny, my first boss all years ago when I was a spotty 18, 19-year-old kid going to work, he told me, he says, son, always remember, trust nobody and you'll not be disappointed. I thought to myself, that's a terribly negative attitude to have. And he was about 20 or 30 years older than me, maybe 20 years older than me. And I thought, I hope I never think like that. He was right. And I have learned in through time and experience that he was, back to what I said earlier, I suppose, you go through a few knocks to realize that he was true. That was good advice. He didn't mean it in a negative way, but he's gone back to what I said, I suppose, about trust as well. So the 18-year-old me was starting again is is you can really judge people the way they treat you and how they handle you so far, and you just got to continue that as best you can, and don't trust everybody you meet, and don't be gullible and too giving, if you like, and just be a bit more harsh. I was a bit soft, I think, at the start. I'm not particularly hard now, but I'm just more questioning. Is probably the best way of saying it. I could say harder things, but I'll just give it as questioning. And I would just be a bit more selective about people I would give credit to and trust with crown jewels, basically.
Okay, brilliant. And are there any offers, or is there anything that you'd like us to include in the newsletter for your business at all?
Well, from our point of view, offers wise, what we offer, a complete service of surveying projects and writing up specifications and obviously supplying the materials. That will be an offer that's open all year round, every day. But from a more seasonal point of view, we do run a charity every year. We take part in a charity of choice, and this year's one is Diabetes UK. And just for a plug for that would be lovely, just because it's a condition I'm very close to. And we have a collection box at the trade counter, so anybody comes in who wants to donate £1 would be made very welcome.
Fantastic. Listen, that's brilliant. Warren Patterson, Patterson Protective Coatings, thank you very much for your time.